Okay, this is good enough. Namaste everyone. Thanks for coming to my talk today. It means a lot for me. I will request Dr. K.K. Sankaran to get the program started.
Thank you, Dilip. Dilip, I've known for a long time. He's a devotee of Hindu Temple of St. Louis, of course. This is where I met him. And he takes part in all the educational and cultural committee activities. And he's a student of the culture and history of India. And he's written a lot of articles and he has published a few research papers. And there is one thing that I remember, Dilip. How many of you remember Sri M, who came, visited? You were here, in this very room. And Sri M is Muslim by birth. And you all know he's a mystic and had a lot of experiences, and he gave a talk right here. And there are a lot of questions. Many of them were very mundane. And some of the questions were from the questions you could tell that the questioner didn't know anything. But when you asked the question, his eyes lit up. I mean, I was there. He said, that is a good question. So that itself is a testimonial to Dilip's. And Dilip is also, in addition to Hindu Temple, Dilip is a devotee of the Vedanta Society, Ramakrishna Vivekananda Mission. And nobody else is, I think, more qualified to talk about Divine Mother, Durga, I mean, who is Ramakrishna, devotee of Ramakrishna will know Durga. And one final thing I will say, Dilip is a great executor, organizer. If you all remember, Didi, you were in the 125th Swami Vivekananda. We had the schedule to the minute, and I think you were plus minus 15 seconds. Anyway, without much further ado, I will let Dilip.
Thank you, sir. I consider him as my elder brother. So, once again, thanks for coming. My subject today is origin and evolution of Durga. So, I am very thankful to the Education Committee of the Hindu Temple of St. Louis. There are members here for giving me this opportunity to come and talk to you. Thank you very much. Dr. Naidu Garu, who is the chairman, he is in India right now. Thank you very much, Dr. Naidu. So, let me get started with a prayer. And the prayer is to Devi Ma. Pranatanam prasida tvam Devi Vishadiharini Trailakya Vashina Vidde Lokanam Varadava. O Mother, creatures from all the three lokas are doing pranam to you. Please remove all the obstacles and miseries from our lives and give us your blessings. With this, I'll get started. So, today's subject, I want to take you in a journey in the past, thousands of years in the past, in search of the archaeological root of Durga. I will take help from texts and ancient history of ancient Bharat. The whole purpose of this thing is I want to give you a glimpse of the rich heritage and culture of our country, which probably is little known. It's not taught in schools. And of course, my approach, as you see, is a research-oriented approach, objective, dispassionate. It is not intended to be religious or spiritual discourse or interpretation of divine events, because I think right here in the audience there are people who can do much better about those things. Okay, so with this I'll get started. So first, the divine narrative, based on which I'm going to give today's talk. Mahishasura, he was a demon, buffalo demon. He prayed to Brahma, and Brahma, actually he prayed for immortality. And Brahma says, no, immortality I cannot give you, but I will give you something like, Brahma was a very wise person, you know. He said, The only boon I'll give you, it cannot be killed by anybody other than a woman. And Mahishasura was ignorant. He did not realize that women are Shakti, which pervades the entire universe, which holds the entire universe. So he thought, I'm immortal. So he attacked the gods, and the gods were out of, he kind of drove them out of heaven. Gods went to Lord Shiva and Vishnu. They became enraged. The total rage of the gods and Lord Vishnu and Shiva became a fireball, and that fireball took shape of a beautiful girl. Gods gave her weapons, and she is Durga. And of course, she eliminated the demons. Remember, Mahishasura, when he was fighting Durga, he changed forms. Even today's modern Mahishasuras, they may change forms. But in the event, Shakti, Durga, will eliminate all of them. Thank you. So, long back, one historian told me this, Dilip, very eminent historian, Dilip. History is like science. You ask why, and that's how it proceeds. I got this quotation from a book of comparative philosophy, I will put it there. So, some why questions for you. First why question is, Durga is a non-Vedic god. We do not see Durga in the Vedas, right? Actually, if we read Rig Veda, there is very interesting things. Many of the gods who were minor in the Vedic period are major gods now. Okay? Many of the gods with the major gods, they're minor. Some of them completely disappear. You know, gods and goddesses, I would say lapata gods and goddesses right now. So, this is what happened now. Same thing, Durga was not there. Where did she come from? Why? When? These questions. And have you ever thought that Durga is so unorthodox compared to the other goddesses who are orthodox Indian housewives? But Durga is a warrior. She goes to war. When I researched Indian history, believe me, I could never find existence of women in Indian army. But for your information, China had it, but India never had it. So where from this concept comes? Right? And why Durga has so many names? These are the questions we are going to answer today. My sources are all published material, reputed journals, reputed books. I am not using Wikipedia and all kinds of YouTube and all, this is the research stuff, this is serious stuff. So, this is a little bit about this painting. This painting is called Poto. In rural Bengal, 18th and 19th century, people would paint this in a scroll, go from village to village and tell stories about mythological facts. So, in quest of Durga, we will do one thing, we'll search Durga in texts. Okay, in Vedas, Puranas and Sanskrit classics. Then we will go for archaeology and history. The first part, when I am looking for Durga in the Vedas and Puranas, this may be a little difficult for people who are not familiar with the Vedic literature, and try to make it very simple. And at the end, we look for soul of Durga. What is soul of Durga? Hold it at the end. Hold your questions to the end. I will explain. Okay. First, we have to define Durga. What is Durga? And Durga has many forms from all over the country, right? We have to zero on something. So, this is Durga. Durga Mahishasura Durga who kills the buffalo demon, and Durga who rides the lion. Her mount is lion. Remember these two features. We will try to identify Durga with these two features. Okay. Why I am selecting these two? Because this is what is given in Devi Mahatmya, which is the most authentic text on Durga. Okay. I will tell more about Devi Mahatmya as we go. Fortunately, we have Dhannaji today who recites Devi Mahatmya all the way. So, first Durga in scriptures. I will search Durga in the Vedic texts and the Puranic texts. Now you tell me, Dilip, you just told that Durga is not a Vedic goddess. So why are you contradicting yourself? So there is a general belief that these three cases, they belong to Durga. they point to Durga. So I will go through all of them one by one. The first one is the Devi Suktam from the Rig Veda. This is in the 10th mandala. So if you are not familiar with Rig Veda structure, let me tell you. Rig Veda has been divided or contains 10 major large chapters. We call them mandala, right? Each mandala has suktams, several. Each suktam is a collection of slokas for one or more god, written by one or more rishi with one or more chanda, meter. So that's the structure. This is taken from the 10th mandala, the last one, 125th suktam. And my Bengali friends can identify this as a beautiful song. Some of you sing this, I know. So it goes like this. I'll recite the first sloka. Aham Rudrevi Vasubhis Charam Mahamadittairita Vishyadevi Aham Vittabaruno Vabi Bharmaham Indragi Aham Ashvinova. Now, that's the background for this. Rishi, the Rishi, this laser contest not working. The Rishi of this suktam has 8 slokas. The Rishi of this suktam is Vak Amrini. Vak Amrini actually is the daughter of Rishi Amrini. Rishi Amrini, his daughter Vak, when she realized God, in the God realized state, she said this. You can read the translation there. Basically it says, I roam around along with the Rudras and the Vashu's and the Vishyadevas and all the gods. Mind the plural. Okay, everything is plural. Rudrev is actually wrong grammar, it should be Rudrev. So all this, you know what? I was thinking how to present this slide. Because this slide can be interpreted in many ways. The most obvious way is, of course, the Vedantic way. She says, Aham Brahmasmi, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, many of you know, right? I am Brahman. That's the most obvious way. It can also be interpreted in Sankhyakarika, Shabda Tanmatra and all, but it can be interpreted various ways. But no way, I read all the 8 slokas. It points to the Durga that we know. Durga, Sinhavahini, Shuddha, Mahisasur, Mardini, no. So, but then the question is, why is called Devi Suktam? There is a reason. I'll tell you at the end. The second one is Devi Suktam from Taittiriya Aranyakam. Now, what is Taittiriya Aranyakam? Kind of matter there. So, you know what? Traditionally, the Vedas, except the Atharva Veda, are thought to be comprised of 4 parts. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. So this Taittiriya Aranyaka belongs to the Yajurveda, more specifically the Krishna Yajurveda, recension of recension. So it goes like this, and this is a very well-known suktam. Many of you chant this afterwards, I know. Jat vedase sunavama soma marati yato nidahati vedah sana parasadati durgani vishwanaveva sindhum viritvat tagnihi. Now, I have a question for you. Who is Jata Veda? Who is Jata Veda? Not you, you know the answer. Who is Jata Veda? Anybody? Jata Veda is Agni, the fire god. Why it's called Jata Veda? There's many things. Like Vedas was born out of it, or when Agni was born, he knew everything, so Jata Veda. Now, I will point you out to the second line of this. Sana, I'll break the sandhi. Sa, na. Parsad, ati, durgani, vishwa. So it says, Oh Agni, please help us cross this Durgani Vishwa, this difficult world. So Durga here is something difficult to traverse, difficult to pass. And then next one, Naveva Sindham, like boat, no evil, like a boat or boatman crosses the ocean. So, oh Agni, please help us cross the ocean of the world. So does it talk about the Durga Snehavahini? No, there are 7 slokas here. Okay? These 7 slokas, actually I found 5 of them in Rig Veda and Atharva Veda, 2 I could not. So I could not find, it points to the Durga that we talked about. So why it is called Durga Suktam? Because the word Durga is there. Trust me. And you know what? We do this again and again. I will give you one more example. When we give a ceremonial bath to the idol during the puja, the Panchamrita Snana, when we bathe with card, what you say? Dadik Travan Akarishan, Vishnu Rashasavadi. You know what? Dadik Travan is the name of a horse. If you read, that's the Rig Vedic sloka, I found it out. It's the name of a war horse. It's nothing to do with Dadhi. Since the name Dadhi is there, we use it as bathing with God. So similarly, this has nothing to do with Durga. Durga means difficult to traverse. That's why we call it Durga Sukta. Done? So this does not point to Durga. Third one. Keep your questions to the end. The third one, Kenopanishad. Kenopanishad, there is a story in the third Titiya Adhyaya. The story says, when the gods became very proud of their energy, their power, Brahman came in form of a Yaksa. And Brahman asked them to prove their powers and they failed. You know, both first Agni and Vayu failed, and then Indra appeared and Yaksa disappeared, and then Harimavati Uma appeared. Actually, you know, I remember the sloka. Bahu Shobhamanam Uma, Harimavatim. Bahu Shobhamana, resplendent. Uma appears. Uma, the daughter of Himalayas, appears them, and that was Yaksa. That Yaksa was actually Brahman. His power is the main power, all of you are power. But then, this does not talk of Durga, and I am going to prove few slides down, Durga and Parvati, they are 2 different goddesses. Okay, I will go there. So, Puranic reference. Now we come to the point where Durga is actually referred. The first one, the most important one, is the Markandeya Purana. Markandeya Purana is one of the oldest Purana. The chapter 81 to 93 is what we call Devi Mahatmyam, Durga Saptasati, or because it is 700 slokas, or in Bengal we call it Chandi. Remember, this entire Devi Mahatmyam is fully devoted to Durga and Durga only. Dates are kind of difficult, but I personally put it around 7th century because of some evidences. This is where Tenant Durga slays the Mahishasura and other demons. Kalika Purana. In Kalika Purana, there is again the chronicle of Durga killing Mahishasura. Durga Devi is 18 arms, 16 arms, 10 arms there. Here the problem, the fun is, Mahishasura is devotee of Durga. Mahishasura comes to Durga and Durga says, hey, I've already killed you. Why are you coming again? No, I'm reborn again as your devotee. And then Mahishasura asked, give me a boon that I get a part of the oblations in Yajna. Durga says, no, that you cannot get, that's for gods only. So alternate, Mahishasura says, give me a boon that I'll be worshipped along with you. That's why you worship Mahishasura. Remember this story. When you come to archaeology, we will see this is reflected. Devi Bhagavad Puran is again another Puran which parts, you know, Kalika Puran and Devi Bhagavad Puran, they have other things also, not like Devi Mahatmya. So Devi is Mahalakshmi, 89. This is where we find Rama worshipping Durga. Okay. There's a very funny thing here. Mahishasura sends a proposal to Durga that I want to marry you. And you know, I laughed when I read the response. Durga said, hey, you are a buffalo. Go and find a she-buffalo with horns and start praying with her. I'll kill you. So I found it that, you know, our rishis, they have very good sense of humor if you read. Other Purans, there are many other Purans I found, the same chronicle of Durga, but I'm going to skip that. Oh, this is a beautiful 500-year-old painting. I found in Harvard Art Museum by page from Devi Mahatmya, so I thought I'd put it here. Okay. References to Durga in the epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana. You know what? Contrary to beliefs, there is no reference of Durga in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Some regional version of Mahabharata says Arjun worshipped Durga. Some regional version of Ramayana says Ram worshipped Durga. But the critical edition, the authentic edition does not have it. So, this is a beautiful picture. It says that Rama is taking out one of his eyes because one lotus was shot. He needed 108 and he did 107. He said, I am Padmalochan, so I will take out one of my eyes. And that's when we got here. So, other literature, Sanskrit and Tamil literature. So, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll go through one or two. Arthashastra, which is believed to have written somewhere around 3rd century BCE, mentions a deity called Aparajita, whose shrine should be at the center of the fort. Who is Aparajita? Aparajita means somebody who cannot be vanquished, unassailable. Aparajita cannot be vanquished. So now we see, as you see the footnote, in Devi Mahatmya, Devi is called Aparajita, right? And also I found in Matsya Puran, Devi is called Aparajita, these two references. I will go to Chandishata, the third bullet, Vanavatta. Chandishata, why I put it here, Vanavatta was a court laureate of King Harsha, so it's a datable, we can cross-verify. This is very important. This is one of the first datable instances of Tantra literature. This has 100 names of Chandi, many names. I will go to the Bhakpati, 8th century Yasodharma. You know why it is important? Read this. Yasodharma worships Vindhyavasini before going to war against the Hunas. Hunas are the Heptalite Hunas, you remember that, who attacked India at the end of around 6th century. Remember this. He is praying to Vindhyavasini. Look at the first one, Aparajita, in the middle of the fort. Doesn't it give us that Durga was related to war, some sort of goddess of war? So, scriptures summary. Durga was unknown during the Vedic ages. Mention of Aparajita, legends of Mahishasura, they existed, and then finally we chronicled them as a part of the Puranas. As I said, worshipped as a goddess for victory, was a goddess of war, and finally, since she is a goddess of war, she needs weapons, so we gave her multiple arms. Okay, so known by many names. Why there are many names? We'll see. This is the picture of Navadurga. See, we already saw Durga is as one who removes the obstacles, right? Durga. Second thing, I was counting in Devi Mahatmya and I could count up to 56. There are 56 names. All kinds of names. You see, I have given some of those. Now here's the fun. Durga is worshipped by the Shakti worshippers, Tantra, as the primary goddess, Shakti. For Advaita Vedanta, Durga is Mahamaya. Maya or Mahamaya, there's slight difference, I will not go there. In Sankhya philosophy, Purusha Prakriti, Durga is Prakriti, holder of 3 gunas, and Shiva is the Purusha. You see this? So many ways Durga is getting worshipped, so no wonder why she has so many names. Tantric Buddhism also. So I'll give you this example, a very good example. I am out of Devi Mahatmya. In Devi Mahatmya, when Devi is fighting Shumba, 8 matrikas emerged from Devi. And Shumba said, come on, fight alone. Why are you fighting with so many? And you know what Devi said? You idiot, these are all my manifestations. 8 manifestations. And they merge back into her. Read the names. Brahmani, Maheshwari, Vaishnavi, Kaumari. Brahmani, consort of Brahma. Maheshwari, consort of Maheshwar, Shiva. Vaishnavi, Vishnu, Kaumari, Kaumari is Kumar, Kumar is Skanda, Kartikeya. So, what's happening here? See this. Basically, the poet is trying to say, Rishi is saying that whether you are a follower of Vaishnav or Shiva or Indra or any other sect, finally everything is one. Beautifully crafted in 8 slokas. Wonderful. Yes, this is another interesting thing I found. Assimilation of tribal goddesses in Durga. I'll tell you the story from Shiva Purana. In Shiva Purana, very, very interesting story. One day, Lord Shiva made a joke to Ma Parvati, Kali, called her Kali, dark complexion. And she was very angry. Why you call me Kali, dark complexion? I will do a penance and get fair complexion. And Shiva said, why I will give you the boon. Why did you? No, I will do it myself. So she went and Parvati's penance is something, it's very whole 3 words. So Brahma came running, Mother, what you need? I want fair complexion. And I said, oh, come on, you could have done it yourself. So the story goes, she takes a bath in a lake and she gets a fair complexion. Here's the thing. From her dark complexion, another goddess emerged. Her name is Kaushiki, because she is out of the kosha. And then Parvati says, then you go to Vindhya mountains, become Vindhyavasini, and you kill Nisimha. Do you see? Read this story in a different way. There are 2 things here. First is, of course, if you are married, you should be careful when you are joking with your wife. Okay. Second thing is, look at this. It lies like this. There was already a dark complexion goddess in the Vindhya region. And Vindhya region was non-Vedic people, dark complexion people. So this story kind of puts that into the Durga fold. Everything becomes one. So tribal. In Orissa, I read that they worship a pillar, Khambeshwari, and they call it Durga. So you see, when tribals get it. By the way, the entire thing I told you about the Kaushiki, it was a plot of actually Brahma's plot. Brahma made the plot so that, what do you think Bollywood gets all these plots from this? Okay. So, Mother Goddess, I'll come back and tell you. This is a beautiful painting from 19th century. You see 8 matrikas, Astamatrikas fighting the demons. Okay. Now, I told you I will prove that Durga, I'll tell you Durga and Parvati are 2 different goddesses. Parvati actually, they get combined in prayers, popular beliefs, and folklore. Parvati is the daughter of Himalayas. Shiva's consort. Actually, Sati, the daughter of Daksha Prajapati, is reincarnated as Parvati. And Parvati is known in many names, I gave you. So, next thing is marriage and Shiva and Parvati are mentioned in many Puranas. Penance of the Parvati is a very, very popular thing everywhere. And in Skanda Purana, I was reading Skanda Purana, I was surprised. When Parvati is doing her penance, she is asking Durga to protect the perimeter from the demons. You see this fun? So, basically there are 2 different goddesses, but we combine them out of devotion. And there's nothing wrong in that. Next one. Now, this is the textual part is over. I will take you the archaeological journey. You will like this. First, this is the modern Durga. I took it from a pandal in Calcutta. Just I'll tell you one thing. Lakshmi and Saraswati both are 1000 to 1500 years older than Parvati, Durga. Okay, Lakshmi. Saraswati is the Vedic goddess. She was not the goddess of learning though, she was the river goddess in Rig Veda. Sri, you find in the appendix of Rig Veda, there's a killer part. Sri Sukta, etc. So Sri, you get, that is Lakshmi. But they are 1500 years older, right? Ganapati and Kartikeya, they are sons of Parvati, but we put them together. Actually, it's in Bengal, we worship that way. Why? You know what? When devotion and love reigns supreme, scriptures take a backseat. We wanted to see Mother Durga with full family, so we have put them through. So this is model. Now the fun starts. I will take you know what? Let me go a few slides down. This is something I forgot to explain. This picture, this artifact. I need to explain you this artifact so that you understand some of the archaeological facts I am going to give you. This is a crash course on iconographic studies, how to understand and evaluate ancient art forms. First thing we do when we get an art form in a temple or anywhere while excavation, we try to say, who is this person? Okay. We try to find out connections with Puranas and other texts. Who is this? Who are these here? Anybody? Who are these two figures here? Come on. Who is here? These two figures. No. Shiva Bharat. Shiva. Okay. You know, this laser pointer is not working on the screen, it's working everywhere else. So let me go here. This is Ganapati. This is Kartikeya. If you look carefully, you can see the peacock here. Kartikeya. Ganapati Kartikeya. So this must be Durga. And this must be, Parvati and Shiva. Now Shiva, look at Shiva. When we look at this art things, we see everything. Who is there? How they are standing? What are they doing? So very important, this study is, This is Shiva. But what? This is not the Shiva what we are used to. Nandi, Damaru, Trident. This is a different kind of Shiva. And you get this description in Skanda Purana and few other Purans. What is Shiva holding? Akshama, Kamandalu, Danda. Look at another thing which is Shiva's signature. Jatamukuta. You see this hair, matted hair? Matted hair is a symbol of Shiva, right? So, Kapardine cha Mukta Keshaya cha. You remember this? This is in Saturday. So look at this. Look at the headdress. This headdress is like a king. Why? This is a Kashmir's 9th century Kashmir architecture. So they put it as Shiva as king. Now, look at Parvati, look at the headdress again as a queen. Now, not carefully, she's holding something in the left hand. This is a mirror. Now I have a question for the ladies only, why Parvati is holding a mirror. Any lady here? Anybody? No? This is easy for you. You have done it probably. During your wedding, you hold a mirror. Right? So, look at this. Then actually I searched the Rijya Sutras, the ritual sutras, and I found 2 sutras, they really have mirror holding, women holding the mirror. So look at this. Our sculptures were not only masters of sculptures, they were masters of Shastra. They knew so well. What a great country we are from. Next time when you look at a sculpture, think the kind of little features I told you. A crash course I gave you on iconographic studies. Only thing missing is pedestal is black. Usually there are motifs, floral motifs, but we'll go on. Now let's go to this one. What do we have? Platform, we have a pattern. We have, you see, there's no Saraswati, Lakshmi and all, only Durga and the demon.
This is influenced by Buddhist.
Hold on to your questions. This, you see this, Durga, the Mahishasura is coming out of the severed head of the buffalo. Okay, fine? And Durga pierces him. If you read the Devi Mahatma, next thing Durga does is cuts off his head. But I have not seen any description, any picture of Durga with any picture of Mahishasura with cut off head. Okay. So, notice one thing. Mahishasura is about to draw the sword, but does not draw it. Why? When we read these things, we ask these questions. Why? How many hands? Why? Is it out of devotion? Because he knew that he will be killed? Okay, the next one. This is one of my favorites. This is a 16-odd Durga in the Met Museum. Unfortunately, this is damaged. You see the hands holding the trident is damaged. Now tell me, I told you out of the two Puranas, Kalika Purana and Devi Bhagavat Purana, both have 16 or 18 armed Durgas. So this is one of them. Okay? Durga is holding the hair of Mahishasura. Unfortunately, lots of damages here. Look at the base, the platform. What's the floral pattern? It's a lotus. Okay? This is in Met Museum. This is not too big. It's about 8 inches. This is in Bharat temple. I think if you have questions, my friend Shiva will be able to answer more about this. This is called Koravai. This is.
It's pronounced Kotravai.
Kotravai. Okay. So this is a form of Durga. This is one Durga form in Cambodia. You know, Southeast Asia, Durga was very popular. Look at the dress. But how do you know this is Durga? Look at the head of the buffalo at the bottom. You remember we talked about how to the iconographical features of Durga? You see here. This one. This is 8-armed Durga. Unfortunately damaged, maybe vandalized, I don't know. Heads are missing. Look at the Mahishasura. Mahishasura is praying to Durga. Folded hands. You remember Kalika Purana? So this folds, this reflects that. What do you think? Our sculptures were masters. This is why I put it here. The sword is clearly seen. It's a 10-armed Durga. Sword is clearly seen. That's a similar thing. Mahishasura is coming out, emerging out of the buffalo. This one. This is one of my most favorite. This is in a temple in Karnataka called Durgā temple. Okay. So this is Aihole Durga temple. Unfortunately, this is damaged. Durga is holding a trident, damaged. 1 foot of Mother Durga is seen. Another thing, something is missing here. So, but you can see most of the things here. Now look at this. What's happening here? Durga is cutting off the buffalo's head. What is happening here? Durga is piercing the buffalo. What is happening? This is the earliest datable sculpture of Durga, 401, 402 CE. You can see the whole thing. This is very interesting things here. Durga is trampling the head of the buffalo with the legs, holding the legs, piercing with the trident, right? Look at the head. She is crowning herself. I am victorious in the war. This is called the self-crowning or self-coronation feature. You find this feature in many Greek and Roman architectures. Recently I read a paper. But have you noticed one thing? A big transformation took place in this picture. Can somebody tell me what the transformation? The Mahishasura, the buffalo daemon, is absent, is replaced by the buffalo. Where is the Mahishasura? Just the buffalo here. You see the transition here, right? You need to note these things. Now, I'll pause here. This is one of the most important things in the history of Durga. This first, let me tell you, this is the first 2nd century artifact found in Mathura, what you call Shaka Kusana period. Look at this. This is definitely a deity because multiple hands, it's not a human. Strangling an animal, holding by throat, breaking the backbone. Similar thing here, but here in the line there's an animal here. We don't know what's that. See that self-coronation feature, self-crowning. Now, would you call it Durga? No. I need person there's learning. Yeah, we cannot call it Durga. What is this called? This we call the warrior goddess. Who called this? A professor in State University of New York, a very good friend of mine. She told it warrior goddess, and that's the name which stuck. So this is not Durga. This is warrior goddess. This is the predecessor of Durga. Once again, I will show you the period, Shaka Kusana period, 1st century, 1st, 2nd century. Now I will go further. You see this goddess. This is not Durga. But this goddess has weapons, has hairs. See, empty sockets, probably some more weapons are there. Look at the dress. This does not look to be Durga. The museum, I got it from Met, says we are not sure. So I am calling, is it one of those protected goddesses, Kalaparajita? Is this? We don't know. Come back. So the summary of the archaeology. Okay. First, second century, Shaka Kushana period, we have the warrior goddess, 402, around 401 and 2, Gupta period. We saw that earliest, that's the part of the Udaygiri cave. Then gradual transition from slayer of the buffalo to the buffalo demon and further evolution. Nobody asked me how do you know it's 401, 402 CE. Others are, I am giving centuries why I could date it. Because the inscription there is the date in Gupta era. Okay, so we could convert it. So, the origin. Now, the warrior goddess I showed, who is the predecessor of Durga. Does it have a predecessor too? Look at this. This is the goddess of Anahita riding on a lion. This is a 400 BCE Persian artifact. Okay. Anahita is the Persian goddess. Look at it, can you make out, this is a goddess sitting on a lion, probably you can. My laser pointer is not working on the monitor. So, this goddess is called Nana. Further back, this goddess sitting on a lion, again Nana. Nana is a Greek Bactrian goddess. This is, I am going to tell you more about Nana. Nana is a Greek Bactrian goddess worshipped around West Asia, Central Asia, was adopted by the Kushans as the goddess of the kings. You know, there's an inscription of Kanishka. You know, Shaka is Shatabda, Kanishka is the Kushans. That's only that much you remember probably. That's enough. I'll explain you better. Kanishka, in one of his inscriptions, said, I became king by blessing of Nana. So Nana was very powerful. And Kanana is considered as the predecessor of Durga. Nana has many names. I showed you the many multiple names. This book by the B.N. Mukherjee was the curator of Indian Museum, Calcutta. He's the first one to suggest this link between Nana and Durga. You can see there's a beautiful picture of Nana. But does Nana have a predecessor? 2350 BC in Mesopotamia. Look at this goddess. The goddess Ishtar, riding on a lion, having all kinds of weapons at her back. Right? So, in search of Durga, we reached all the way up to Mesopotamia. Look at this inscription. In a Babylon temple, this is the inscription given. Beautiful inscription. Okay. Now, at this point, I know you guys are skeptical. You guys are telling me, Dilip, are you telling us that Durga has a foreign origin? You are about to leave this hall. No, I don't believe that. Okay. Hold on. You remember the Shaka Kushana period I told? Let's take a look. Who are the Shakas and Kushanas? We need to read a little bit about the history of that period. Okay? So, northern India, Shaka Kushana, 1st, 2nd century. Now, you know, Alexander came here, all of you know. Alexander came here and he left. When he left a big empire. Finally, that kind of got split. In 250 BC, the northwest Bharat was ruled by Indo-Greeks. Remember only this, Indo-Greeks. You know, northwest Bharat, which is current Pakistan. And then we'll zoom out. We'll zoom out and take a view of entire Central Asia. So, in Central Asia, something was happening. See, these are the Indo-Greeks I showed you. And there are one tribe called Saka, another tribe called Kushans. Kushans used to be known as the Yuchi, okay, in those days, Yuchi tribe. And there's one more tribe called Seim-New. This was the kind of equilibrium state. They were all together. Shakas actually were part of a large tribe called the Scythians. They're famous they're famous for their horsemanship. moved all the way from Central Asia to the Caspian Sea, the Sakas, the Scythians. Then what happened? There's a war between the Simini and the Kushans, and the Kushans lost. And you know, those wars are not ordinary wars. In Bharat, ancient India, you will not find such atrocities. If you lose the war, the entire city will be burned. All the population will be killed. So they lost. What they do? They escaped. Not 100, 200,000 people they escaped. Such atrocities we don't find in our history. We don't, sometimes we don't realize how great country we are from. So they go west. Whom they found? They found the Sakas, and they fought again. And then the Sakas lost. Where they go? They go towards the Indo-Greek. This is the question, why they are not going west? Why they are coming towards Bharat? Because that was the most cherished country in that region, in that period. Fertile land, land of gold and silver. Everybody wanted to come to our country. So they came to the Indo-Greeks, and they kind of occupied what the Indo-Greeks had. So they came to, hold on. So they came to the Saka kingdom, they occupied this, right? And then Kushans were kind of tailgating them. You see the UG, hum chodega nahi, like this. So they're tailgating, and the Kushans finally had a big, large empire, 127 CE. So you saw the northern Bharat was a cultural melting pot, right? So here are the impacts. Indo-Greeks, Sakas, Kushans brought a very diversified culture of Central Asian, Greek and Persian to Bharat in 4th century to 1st century, 2nd century. See this? Okay. And the exchange of religious ideas, Hindu, Persian, Greek, Kushan, they did take place. I'll give you more examples. Concept of warrior goddess actually is part of that. There are many things happen. Art and culture, if I talk about Gandharan art form, Greco-Roman art form, that will take, this art and culture probably a 1 year, 2 semester, 300 level course, I should tell you. But then Greeks and Sakas and Kushan, finally they all merged into India as Kshatriyas. So that is the greatness of Mother India. We could adopt people. We are never closed. Tell me, who is this person in this picture, in this coin? This is a Kushan coin. Very easy. Who is this? Shiva. Right. Very good. Now, you cannot read this. I can read a little bit of Bactrian. Written Vaisho. Vaisho is a Central Asian wind god. Now, how does Vaisho get the features of Shiva, or Shiva gets the features of Vaisho? You see the cultural exchange taking place. And trust me, this is a Kushan coin. I cannot show you this. This is a Kushan royal emblem. See? This is a picture from a cave in central China. Did you know in central China we have caves like rock cut caves like Ajanta Ellora? So it's one of these. You can identify Ganapati. Probably, you see, Hinduism did spread there. This is another cave from China. So you see, we are not closed, we are never closed. We crossed boundaries, they came boundaries, we adopted. We adopted what is good. So, now the question comes. We saw Durga, the Murti of Durga, we might have adopted. What about the soul of Durga? Wait, let's see. Mother Goddess. Worship of Mother Goddess has been prevalent all over the ancient civilization. I've given two examples. 24,000 BCE, Venus of Willendorf, and Çatalhöyük in Turkey. Çatalhöyük in Turkey actually one of the late Neolithic settlements, late Stone Age settlements there. Very important. So both you see the Mother Goddess. Only thing you see in the right picture on the right, the chair had two faces of two felines, probably two lions. So Mother Goddess was always there, very popular. But in the Vedas, we do not find goddesses very important, right? Gods are more important in the Rig Veda. How many goddesses are there? Very minor. So Mother goddess was very important, but we don't have it. So fully developed concept of a mother goddess is missing in the Vedas. Why I am calling fully developed? You remember the Devi Shuktam I told? That is one of the examples that it is developing. The concept of mother goddess in Rig Veda is Vedic culture is developing. It's not fully developed. So Durga filled this gap. Perfectly. So here are some of the slokas I am giving you. First one is from the Devi Shuktam. You know, the same thing. Aham Rudrevi Vasubhi, I told you. He says, Tan Mahadeva Vadadhu Urutva Bhuristhatran Bhurya Veshantim. Gods have distributed me in many places, but I am one. So, the concept of mother goddess is kind of emerging. Look what is happening in Devi Mahatmya. Eko Baham Jagat Tatra Dityaka Mama Para. I am the only one. That's no second. And the third one, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshi Chetanatya Vidhyate. You remember the 23 epithets we have? This is pure Advaita Vedanta. The Devi is pervading the whole world as the consciousness. Look at this transition. Look at the transformation. So, our religion was always open. See, what happened? We had Bharat, the Mesopotamian goddess. We had Anahita, the Persian goddess, kind of derivative of that. We have Nana, a derivative of Anahita. And then we have a derivative of that as the warrior goddess. We took the images, we took only the images and put a soul of Mother Durga. The soul is 100% Indian, I showed you in the previous sloka. This is nothing foreign. But this is the greatness of Hindu religion, the greatness of Sanatana Dharma that we can adopt and we can transform to our own religion, our own philosophy. Make no mistake, our religion has transformed from right from Rigvedic page to current age. But the core of the religion remains same. The core of the religion, Sanatana Dharma, is based on truth, and truth never changes. But you see, the transformation takes place. That's all I think I have. There are many names I told you of Durga, so many names. One name I liked, Mother. So I end my lecture with this. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshi Matri Rupana Samastita Namastasya 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 Namo Namah. That's the end of my talk. I have some references. The number of references ran very long. I have some references I have given you, limited. And thank you very much. And now I know there are many questions, hands were raising. Thank you very much for your time. I think I rushed it a little bit. No. I have 6 minutes now.
Right on.
I have 5-10 minutes for questions. First, the little one. What's your question?
Why did the Shakas not go to Mesopotamia?
Oh, no. Mesopotamia is, we are talking about 2400 BC. Shakas belong to about 1st century BC. So, but that's it. And, again, I told you India was the cherished destination in those days. So, remember the time period is different. You had a question.
Going back to slide number 13, you said that Durga is not mentioned in those slokas. But the second verse perhaps said the Agnivarna.
Okay, very good question. So the second sloka of the Durga Shuktam, Tam Agnivarnang tapasa jalanting vairochaning karma phaleshu jishtaam Durgang devigam sharanamaham prapaddeshu tarasi tarase namaha. You might have heard that I told you there are 7 slokas in Durga Shuktam. I could get the origin of 5. 2 I could not get. This one and the last one. Govhirjishtamayo yarin siktam tavendra, that's the one. That means these 2 slokas were later additions, first of all. Number 2, even if you see the other way, Durga, Agni here, Tam Agnivarna, you are Agnivarna, is considered as a Devi. And one commentary I read says that Durga is a type of sacrificial fire. Durga type fire. Okay. Tam Agni Varnang. Another clue I'll give you. Second line. Tam Agni Varnang tapasa jalanting vairochaning karma phale sujistam Durgām Deving Sharanamaham Prapadde. Karma phal, Sharanamaham. These are not Vedic concepts. Sharanamaham is the bhakti. You don't get any mention of bhakti in any Vedic literature. You don't get bhakti in any Upanishads except Shatashatar Upanishad, last sloka. Bhakti is just. Okay, so bhakti is a Puranic concept. Next question. Anybody else? Shiva? Yeah, if Shiva asks questions, I cannot answer. Trust me, he knows so much. Yes, Didi.
I think it's slide 18. You mentioned about Bharat. So Bharat, I forgot the name of the book or sloka.
Kadambari?
Yeah. No, that's my question. That Kadambari is not really, that's one thing I did. There is nothing religious. I did not know Bharat wrote anything.
Chandishataka he wrote. It is believed that he wrote Chandishataka. It's kind of attributed to him, Chandishataka. I searched Chandishataka. I tried to search Chandishataka as a part of his accepted literature. I could not get. So Chandishataka is probably written separately. There are many things we attribute. Like Sandhya Lahari. Sandhya Lahari we attribute to Shankaracharya. But Sandhya Lahari is a full tantric sloka. So, you see this? So, there's a question mark. Common belief we attribute to them.
Right. I was just curious because I did
that's
not.
right. Yeah.
The same thing, the Kumar Shambhava by Kalidas, it is really not a devotion.
No, it's not a devotion.
Not at all devotion.
Absolutely.
It has the Shiva and Parvati name singing.
That's right. Kumar Shambhava is not devotional. Anything else? Sir.
In the first slide, in the title slide, you showed Sri Chakra. Now, Durga is northeastern, mostly there. In the south,
you are an expert on Sri Chakra.
You didn't mention Lalita.
I mentioned Lalita in the Puranic slide.
Oh, you did?
If you go,
Okay.
when I talked about existence of Durga in the Purans, the last bullet was Lalita. Now here it is. Lalita Sahasranama is an appendix to Brahmanda Purana. It is a separate appendix called Lalita Mahatma. Bandasura. So that's it. So my friend Suresh is not there. I'm missing him. Suresh asked me a question. I'm going to ask his question. Suresh, when I showed him the picture of Anahita, the Persian goddess, he told, hey, in Lalita Sahasranama we have Anahatabja Nilaya. So are these connected? No, Suresh. Actually, Suresh, you are not there. I'm answering your question. Anahatabja Nilaya, Anahata Chakra, the fourth chakra. Abja is the lotus. So, Lalita Devi who resides in the Anahata Chakra. That is Anahata Chakra Nilaya. So that is not Anahita. What else? You have another?
I was saying Anahat, that is the pure. Anahat.
Anahata. That's one of that's the fourth chakra. Miladhara. Anybody else? Nothing? Yes. Oh my God. This is
I have more of a history question. You mentioned about the Bengali form of Durga, how Devi Lakshmi and Saraswati got added, and how we perceive Durga, and how it did not mention, but I was thinking how it became the main festival in the Eastern region. Do you have any thoughts on when chronologically or historically that transition must have happened?
Let us take the question in a different way. When was Durga Puja Paddhati written? Let's start from that. I anticipated this question and I have a slide for that. Durga Puja is about 1000 years old. Okay, but I'll come to your question a little late. You see, I'm given chronologically. Most well known is the Durga Puja Paddhati by Raghunandan. He was a smart, he was a Pandit from Navadvip region in Bengal. Then you go down. The earliest reference I could get is 1125 CE. That's when we get a documented Durga Puja. But I told you in Kalika Purana, if you see, read Kalika Purana, there is Durga Puja, how to ritualistic steps. But Kalika Purana is not entirely written for that. So that's it. So it started that. Then sometime around the 18th century, we transformed the whole thing and we added others like Lakshmi, Saraswati, Ganesh and everybody. We started worshipping a different way. Does it answer your question? Anybody else? Yeah, Laura.
I have one more question.
The most difficult question comes from me. This guy reads a lot.
So you know how you said about like how Durga was influenced, right?
Come again?
You know how you said how Durga was like influenced from the other goddesses?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know the origin of the name Durga?
Oh, I told you. See, if you see in the when I read Durga Suttam, so the question was the origin of the name Durga. When I read Durga Suttam, you see the first sloka, Sanak Varsat, you are too little to understand Sanskrit. It says Durgani Vishwa. Durga means difficult to traverse, difficult to pass. That's the source. That's why we call Durga Durgati Harini, Durga, the remover of all obstacles. Just to let you know, my friend's son is very well read, much ahead of his grade. So, any other question? No? Thank you very much. So, before I end, October 27th, we have Swami Chetanananda is scheduled to give a lecture on religion for youth. All of you are welcome. I request Dr. Shankaran to close out today's session. Close out. Closing thanks.
Anyway, thank you very much. It's a very nice talk. Durga, of course, we talked about Ramakrishna, Kali, and Durga Puja coming up. A lot of names and very informative. And thank you.
Okay, now if you have questions offline, I'm available.
Very good.